Okay, well, we'll just kind of dive in and explain a little bit about what Active Classroom is, if you've never heard of it and you're watching. It's a flexible online learning platform. It incorporates the best work from esteemed authors, historians, and social studies experts, and includes many perspectives, instructional strategies, and a variety of lesson types. Best of all, you can have exactly what you want, courses that are built to state standards and 100% aligned to TEKS, and not be locked into just one resource or one book. You've got lots of different options to choose from. So we have state-aligned curriculum maps for all of your grade levels from 6th to 12th. And that cooks quickly, so we'll just go keep moving on, including African American and Mexican American history as well. So we've got like sociology and psychology in there too. The best things about Active Classroom is that we do have a structure to it. So there are easy to follow grade level curriculum maps that are designed to follow along with the TEKS resource system, scope and sequence. They're aligned to the state social studies standards, what we call the C3 framework. So with any of these, we've got detailed teaching notes. You can see it kind of gives you a day-by-day breakdown of how you can use Active Classroom resources in your classroom every day to teach. The teaching notes will tell you exactly, if the lesson, like which parts of the lesson to use, because some of the activities are pretty long and they may take a couple of days. And so the teaching notes will tell you, hey, we're only going to use these resources from this particular lesson, or just kind of, say this is everything that you're going to be doing. So we want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to jump right in and start using the resources. Active Classroom is also flexible. You can explore and add additional activities of your choice. You can search by activities, by standard, by subject, activity type. Here you can see all the different types of activities we have: decision making, mapping activities, readings at different Lexile levels, and simulations. We also believe in differentiation with Active Classroom as not just being by Lexile level, which we do have readings at different Lexile levels for students, but also that you can differentiate with lots of different types of activities. Flexible technology solution. Active Classroom works on any internet-connected device. It is device neutral, as we say. And so if they have a browser on their phone, on their tablet, on their computer, you can easily connect and use all of Active Classroom features and resources. We also integrate with Canvas, Clever, Google Classroom, and more other LMS situations. So I wanted to show you some of the resources that are in Active Classroom and the types of lessons that you'll come across and see. When we talk about a series, so this series is called The Historian's Apprentice, and then the lesson is The Great Society and Its Critics. And a series in Active Classroom just means that it's written by the same author or and has a similar structure to it. So you can see in this one, we've got some vocabulary at the introduction to help introduce students. We've got 5 habits of historical thinking that kind of guide students through each of these lessons. You'll also want to notice that we have teacher's guides and a PowerPoint presentation that go along with this. Always, when you're searching and you're exploring Active Classroom, if there is a link to download a teacher's guide, I highly recommend doing it because there's just going to be really detailed notes in the teacher's guide about how to conduct the lesson. And like with simulations, there'll even be ways to like organize the desks in your rooms and just step-by-step directions. So we also have different documents that you can see in here. So some are visual or images, and then others will be textual. You can use our magnifier to look closer at the image analysis. And with Historian's Apprentice, they what they do is that you have 10 primary source documents, and students analyze those, each with their own questions. And then they have 2 secondary source documents, and students have to match the primary source documents that support the secondary source opinion. So it's really great, even for, you know, AP students to start working on building up to that evidence-based writing. And then they end with some options for document-based questions or a structured debate. Another, you know, primary source series that we really love in Active Classroom is called History Unfolding. And it is going to be just visual images, but students are able to click on the different images after reading the backgrounds and then have analysis questions to go with them. Again, we've got kind of our magnifier glass that lets you zoom in on specific parts of like a political cartoon. You can also go full screen. So if you wanted to use this image to do a class-led discussion, or you can click into quadrant view. So if you're looking at just like one part of the cartoon. History Unfolding is also great for doing gallery walks if you wanted to do more of a small group analysis. Everything in Active Classroom is printable. I said almost everything, obviously videos, and there are a couple of interactive resources that you can't print out. Writing DBQs, we know that this is a big shift, and as we start looking at the STAR test with some of those short constructive response, getting students to use that evidence-based writing, we provide lots of opportunities for you know, comparing documents. So debating the documents is another series in Active Classroom that's really fantastic. Students are asked to look at visual primary sources, and then they have to decide which would be most useful for a historian trying to understand the topic. And then again, they've got document-based questions at the end. The other great and flexible thing about Active Classroom is that you can assign just parts of lessons. I kind of mentioned that earlier, but if you find a lesson that you really like debating the documents, and let's say you just really liked one of the primary sources in there and you wanted to assign it to students with the questions, the analysis questions, you can actually assign just one part of the activity or the lesson to students. And then they've got some comparison essays. So after they kind of do the analysis, then they have to write, I chose document A because, and give evidence based on that. And I did not choose document B, but it would still be helpful for a historian for these reasons. And finally, this shows how you'll be able to assign to different students different parts of the activity and lesson. So when you click on the grading, it becomes available for you to assign just those specific parts.
And you
when
said
also you're assigning, go ahead.
You said you assign it through, so like you assign it through here, but it connects to Google Classroom?
Yes.
Okay.
So it all shows up in Google Classroom.
Okay.
Also, when you're assigning, you can choose to customize highlights if you want students like reading for specific purpose, like looking at cause and effect. You can always just customize those for students. Again, lots of different literacy building skills with, you know, short thought-provoking lessons to build critical thinking and writing skills and U.S. history readers. So we've got some short readings, again, great for those short constructive responses. There's a lot of writing that is optional for students in Active Classroom because we know that writing in the subject area really helps them comprehend better. And so this is a great series to look at. Students also have supports in Active Classroom. They're embedded that they can access all the time. So we have things like read aloud. They can translate into many languages, and also it will read aloud in that language. We have a dictionary and a picture dictionary. And actually, we just added another tool called screen masking. So it's not on this slide right now, but that's a new tool for students to be able to use. We do have level text for some of our series. Things like We the People is written at a number of different levels, so you are able to search by those. And so we've got a couple of different options there with some call outs as well. Freedom, Whose Land Is This? Or Freedom is kind of a history of us. It's written by Joy Hakem. It's a great U.S. history text, kind of a primary text to be used in U.S. history. It's written more conversationally, and so it's more high interest for students to read. But you can see here that we've got some highlighting and annotating that students can do as they read in Active Classroom. There are also close reading activities to support this lesson, so you're getting kind of a double dose of literacy with those activities. Simulations, we've got so many wonderful simulations in Active Classroom, and they are written really, really well and detailed, so that if you are afraid to try simulations, this is a great opportunity. So they're very high interest, things like zombie-based geography is wonderful. They really engage students. That has a graphic novel that goes along with it. And I mean, it has everything from like a pre-assessment quiz to exit tickets to, final summative assessments at the end, and project. It's really very project-based. Again, those detailed teacher notes that come with it. Other simulations would be like decision-making activities. These are great to start units because a lot of times students don't know what the outcomes are. So you're really kind of placing students in the driver's seat of history as they read, what the information that the person would have had in front of them at the time. So it really helps them kind of look at, kind of hindsight, not looking at hindsight history, but just what the decisions are that people have to make every day, and how those decisions have changed history and some of the unintended consequences as a result of making certain decisions. These are great because there are options to do kind of like a short class period or do it over several weeks. Other activities, the great thing about having a digital resource is that we can keep it current all the time. It's not static, and so we're always adding new content to Active Classroom. One of the series we do this with is Mapping the News, which are released monthly. And so we, create these different activities for students to do. They involved students looking at evidence and looking at maybe some, videos from different news networks and considering different facts, and then having them actually map out what is going on with these topics. And so using maps in a really effective way to lead and build instruction. Current Events is another series that are released monthly, and again, just to really help students kind of look at both sides of topics that are in the news, and gives them, just options to kind of research. And I like it because it's done from a very kind of like neutral standpoint and really offers both sides of every or multiple perspectives on every topic. There are lots of assessments in Active Classroom. You can choose to create your own. We have question banks and auto-graded options, but I love that we offer lot of different authentic assessments in active classrooms. So there's debate, there's mapping activities, performance-based, project-based, discussions, and multiple choice and short answer. And like I said, there's a lot of writing opportunities in active classroom to help build those skills. So you can build your own assessments, and like I said, in the curriculum maps, you're going to see some different assessment options that we'll suggest and how they align to the standards. That is a repeat slide, so I'm going to skip that. And then a grade book. We have a really great grading interface that was honestly built from teacher feedback. And even more incredible is that since y'all are with Google Classrooms, the grade books speak to each other. So things that are automatically graded in Active Classroom, once you publish them, will go straight into your grade book in Google Classroom. Went back too far. Anything that again is multiple choice or kind of fill in the blank is going to be auto graded in the system, and you're able to give feedback a number of different ways, by text or by saying it back to students for them to hear. But it's really fantastic, so y'all can check that out as well. And when we talk about the flexibility, so you're going to have the curriculum map, which is a great place to start and you can look at, but you'll also be able to search our database of inquiry-based resources. And so if you find a series that you really like debating the documents, and you want to see more of that one series, you can search by keyword, or in our advanced search menu, you can search by subject.
Ooh, I like that you can search by era.
Yes. By era or theme, so we can narrow it down more. You can also search by series title. And again, like I said, each series is just written by the same author and has a similar structure. Each of these series is going to have anywhere from like 10 to 50 lessons underneath it. So you can imagine just the scope of the resources available to you. You can also search by activity type. And you can search by standard as well. As I mentioned before, we have the toolbar that is available for students at any time to help support them as they work in Active Classroom. I should also mention that the way Active Classroom is set up, that students only see the things that teachers assign to them. So this is not like a textbook where they go on and read for themselves, but anything that the students see is what the teachers have given them access to.
Does it only translate to Spanish?
No, it translates into a host of languages. I'm not even sure how many, but there are a whole lot.
Okay.
And now I was going to, and I can send this link, or I think you have this link, for teachers to use to log into their own accounts, but I will also send that out so that you have it again. And then I was going to kind of take y'all into the platform a little bit just to show you a couple of things to be sure to check out while you're there.
Perfect.
So we're going to go to the homepage here. So once we're in the homepage and you've got your account set up, it's going to look like this. We have like the mapping the news lessons that came out this month, and then the current events as well. Over here, the very bottom right, we have our curriculum maps. So when you click on this icon, the curriculum maps for every grade level will come up, and you'll be able to explore those. So, and for world geography, we have it done conceptual or regional available. And then, and we can just click on one of these so you can see how it's set up by units over to the left. And then all of the TEKs that are covered in that unit. And then it really does break it down day by day for you to see all these different resources. So, you've got a key decision, which is like a decision-making activity. Then we're going to have an atlas activity work. One of those primary source activities with debating the documents, a video, and then end with a reading from U.S. history readers.
And
You can see.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you know if they're scheduled, are they planned for like 45-minute or an hour and a half session class periods? Do you know if
they're planned for about 50-minute class sessions?
Okay.
So those are the curriculum maps. I mean, it's a really easy way to go in and again see just some of the lessons that we've really pulled out that are our favorites. So I always say it's a great place to start to kind of get some ideas of the types of activities that you could be doing. We go back to our homepage. We will also want to point out the atlases. All of the Nystrom atlases are available in Active Classroom, and so you have it from kind of our 5th grade level all the way, through U.S. history and world history. Our desk atlas is typically used for world geography and the world atlas for world cultures. So you'll already have access to that, but you would have that available again. And you can open those just by clicking the little I button, and it opens to the flip book or to the table of contents to be able to view. So those are great resources, and those can be made available to students to look at any time. So you do have that option. We also have all of our digital maps in Active Classroom. All of our maps are interactive. They're also connected to the World Factbook, so you can click this on and have some different country information pull up. We can click on our map views and we can add different layers, so physical features, political features, reference. We're in an elementary map right now, so we would be looking at the secondaries, what y'all would have. So we've got different thematic maps as well as those physical maps. And we also have history maps as well. So we have U.S. history, world history, and Texas history maps to choose from. So these are really great. They offer some great timelines. Sometimes they have graphs or different infographics on them, but really great for helping to explain different eras in history. So those are fun to explore. And like I said, they're interactive. We have a toolbox, so you can actually write on any of the maps. You can place symbols, things like that. And then for our activities, I wanted to do a quick search just to show you. I wanted to pull up our atlases. So our atlases have these level 2 activities. You can see for each one there's 2 levels, and the level 2 activities are interactive, and they were actually built on the same API as the new STAR 2.0 questions. So they have kind of drag and drop for students to do. They're looking at different stimuli. We've got this map that students are asked to read first. I'm in the student view right now. So we have things that are multi-select. And they build in DOK level. So by the end, students are being asked to, read some expository text, look at the map and identify things, and then select the statements below that are supported by both the reading and the map. So these are done as like kind of slide sets, like there's 4 in it that you would assign to students. So very easily, we click on the little outline, we could just assign those. They're great for assessment and also for instruction. So that would be one series, and for those maps, any of the atlases, we have it for Atlas of World History, the Desk Atlas, the World Atlas, the Atlas of Texas History as well. So those are in there. And then we have all the different series here that you can see. So go in and explore. To search by standard, I did just want to cover that because I know that's important in Texas. And so I'm going to click on the standards. And this one works a little bit differently. So you're going to select your grade, 8th grade, and we're going to select Texas and state standard and click update. And then you can see each standard is laid out and it has a little checkbox next to it. So when we click the checkbox, underneath, all of the activities that meet that standard are listed beneath. So that was a pretty wide one, and it's got a whole 5 pages of results to go with it. If you want to narrow it down, if there's a specific keyword you want to put in, you can put that in there as well. Now, the thing that I will say about the standard search is that the more standards you click on, the more results you're going to have. Versus if you're looking like at keywords in the advanced menu, it might narrow it down. So just wanted to explain that real quick. So, you do have a lot to choose from. Now, in your trial account, when we see those teacher guides, some of them may not let you download all of the handouts and teachers guides just because it's a trial account. But if there's anything that you really want to see, please email me and I can always send it to you and give you permission to look at that. So that's kind of the brief overview. I would suggest to teachers, I know this is a very quick overview and you may not catch everything, on our help page, which is just the question mark up by the logout button. If you click there, and we've got a detailed user's guide, we've got little videos, but when we scroll down, there are a couple of orientation videos. These are just about like 3 minutes each, but they really go into, a good detail of how to navigate, finding activities, what it will look like to assign activities, and what that assessment and grade book really looks like.
And out of curiosity, with the trial account, can they assign something to Google Classroom while they have the trial just to play with that and kind of see what
No,
it
they
looks like?
can't. But
Okay.
I'm happy to set up a pilot if that's something that
Okay.
y'all want to do. And with a pilot, you'd be able to do that.
Okay. Okay.
But like I said, it'll show you kind of what that looks like. And then there's also videos for how you would do that with Google Classroom.
Okay.
But it's a very easy system to work with. So, but that is kind of the things that you'll probably use the most as you explore Active Classroom.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
If you don't
for
have any other
sharing and
questions,
kind
I
of
can.
walking us through it.
Absolutely. Let me stop the recording and then I can stop recording.